Michael G here. Happy belated Father's Day. Lately, some of you have wondered if I am making a fashion statement with a suspender look. Well, maybe. But more importantly, I am paying tribute to my late father. My dad passed away peacefully on June 21st, 2015, at the age of 91, surrounded by his family. After his passing, I was going through some of the belongings and I noticed a collection of unused suspenders. It was a reminder of him, and while during the pandemics, I reflected on myself and I missed all the values he brought to people around him. I was never very close to my dad since we did not live together as I was growing up. So I did not know him well, and following the influence from my mom, I thought he was a bit introverted and did not have much to say. Then over the years of my adulthood, I gradually learned about him. He was an excellent self-learner, teaching himself written Chinese language, Japanese, and listening skills. He had a good sense in dressing himself and was liked by friends. He learned how to play the harmonica and had a sense of color and design. He was a saver and lived his life frugally, but he was never stingy because he treated everyone else with generosity. He was quiet, hardworking, honest, reliable, loyal, and not always getting into the most lucrative deals competitors were getting. He was organized and kept people's phone numbers and addresses neatly in booklets, as well as kept accounting of the business. He practiced Chinese writing so that his level of communication was up to par with the educated. He was kind and gentle, as I don't recall him raising voice to my two kids when they went over to their place after school every day. My kids were just heartbroken when he passed, and I feel I can understand why. I didn't have a grandfather or even a father figure while I was growing up, so I'm happy that they had a chance to know theirs. With me, my dad never argued anything, even though many times he clearly did not agree with me. He was born in a turbulent China in 1924. China was still a young republic after the revolution to overthrow the ruling of the Qing dynasty in 1911. Warlords abound, and they were fighting each other for local control against each other and the Kuomintang government. Then the war with Japan broke out in 1937, and at the time he was just 13. Education and life were interrupted severely, and making ends meet and just surviving was hard during those years. After Japan's surrender in 1945, as people were celebrating the near-miss victory, the internal war broke out between communists and Kuomintang and intensified, and communists took over the whole China in 1949, and Kuomintang retreated to Taiwan. That year, he somehow got on the last ship leaving Shanghai and arrived in Taiwan. While in wartime Shanghai under Japanese occupation, he was working at a Japanese trading company and self-taught to speak Japanese with the bosses. But it only lasted until age 25 as a communist troop moved into Shanghai, and he escaped in time to Taiwan. In the completely new and strange environment, through the help of friends, he became a small curtain merchant in Taipei. While I was young, he would come around to our place every weekend, and I would know him as a family friend We had minimal interactions, but I am sure he was watching over me. Mom, Dad had an official wedding when I was 17 and stayed together until his passing away. When I was established in my job and preparing for my daughter's arrival, I asked them to come over to the US and watch my kids, and again, they picked up everything and moved here. In addition to providing me the opportunity to be educated in the US, I'm eternally grateful for them to help me with my responsibility. And by the way, I didn't realize how much values I have inherited from him until I self-examined last year to see who I am. I find that I'm actually a forced extrovert, being very introverted at heart and yet socializing with the external world to complete the tasks that I'm responsible for. I also tend to learn beyond school and continue to do self-improvements in various areas. At a young age, I followed my mom to Japan, where she worked for several years, and I remained there independently for a couple of years before coming to the United States. So, I have many ties to people and business and culture in Japan. I am good with language learning and retention, so that I have been trilingual for most of my life. I am somewhat organized, and I also weigh integrity in business dealings to more than profits, so I do forego some opportunities, but with no regrets. I carry some sense of design and learned to play guitar at one point. I enjoy quiet time, not interacting with the outside world, and just researching and learning about things. And I tend to be a saver and still be generous to others. As I received much more influence from my mom, who is a polar opposite from my dad, I've lived with many traits that are contradicting to each other. So in summary, I can never be like my dad exactly, but I am eternally grateful for having him as my dad and hope to live up to his memory. So, what is your memory like with your dad? Are you alike or a complete opposite? In any case, I want to thank you for watching my tribute to my dad. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.